This is the open forum segment. It talk to me as you may. The number to call is 457-9997. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube.
All right, final segment here. Oops, my bad. Now, this we mentioned earlier that we wanted to touch on this. All right. The WhatsApp number 4579997, the number to call 4579997 as well. Now, there's a story here on St. Vincent Times, a headline: Nigerians in SVG for over 7 years urged to apply for citizenship. And it goes a little something like this. The PM of SVG has issued a plea to individuals of African descent, particularly undocumented Nigerian residents, to undertake the process of legalizing their residency status. This is for those who have not read it as yet. The call was made by Gonsalves during a press conference on Friday. The Nigerian students in SVG have been urged by Gonsalves for the second time to regularize their status. Second time, with the initial request having been made on January 8th of this year. During that period, Gonsalves expressed that a significant portion of the local population lacks comprehension about the dynamic characteristics associated with an enhanced populace. That's a rather interesting point. According to Gonsalves, a portion of the students have pursued careers in music upon completing their education, while others have demonstrated proficiency in various trades such as craftsmanship, joinery, carpentry, and related fields. A significant portion of these individuals can be classified as undocumented, lacking any official recognition or established status beyond their previous student designation, while no longer being enrolled in educational programs. I quote, I've said it before and I'm saying it again. Please come and regularize yourself, get residence, get work permits, and regularize yourself. Those of you who have been here for 7 years or more can apply for citizenship. In short, we have a number of bright young Nigerians. We haven't paid for their primary education, we haven't paid for their secondary education, and we haven't paid anything for their tertiary education. They are a resource. They are an important resource. End of quote. He went on to further say some of them have married Vincentians, and yes, they have, and have received citizenship. Some, like other people, have migrated since they got married to their partners. Some are here. In other words, it's a mixed group. And my observation is that the working people and the peasantry of this country have provided our Nigerian brothers and sisters with tremendous solidarity. Let me see. Oh, yeah, we could finish the story one time, man. According to Gonsalves, it is imperative that Vincentians refrain from engaging in any form of discrimination or harboring negative sentiments towards law-abiding young individuals. However, acknowledge that a minority of individuals may possess biases towards Nigerians, albeit their numbers are diminishing. Things are getting better. I quote again, they may be undocumented, but they are law-abiding in the sense that they are not involved in any criminal activity. Oh, if they choose to get involved in that kind of activity, well, the relevant institutions of the state, the police, and the courts will deal with that. Some of those persons, if they were Americans, Canadians, Europeans, British, or, for instance, French, might not have been so unfavorable towards them. And it's part of my duty to speak honestly about these particular facts and circumstances. End of quote. I think I could. In January of this year, Gonsalves made a statement regarding a historical period in SVG characterized by discriminatory practices against individuals from Grenada, Guyana, and Jamaica, particularly in the context of immigration. According to Gonsalves, it was necessary for him to communicate to the individuals in positions of authority that the populace have a high level of proficiency. He emphasized that the citizens exhibit a strong work ethic and should be considered for employment opportunities. Story ends. Thoughts, views, opinions 4579997, because this is a very short segment and this seems to be a very heavy topic. Short, sweet, to the point, please.
Well, let's wait for the callers, but let me just say, I want to make a distinction between the Prime Minister having gone to Nigeria and coming back. He didn't make that statement in Nigeria, he made it here on return. You understand? Maybe I don't know what prompted this, what questions would have come out. He would have spoken about his press conference, spoken about Nigeria. But I grew up in England with Nigerians, lots of friends and so forth, good people. And they come from different backgrounds, different tribes, the Igbo, the Yoruba, the Hausa. Yes, and I tell you, there's a lot going on in Nigeria today. But that is different. Whether the numbers 50 and 150 Nigerians here in St. Vincent and they should seek regularization, that's different from saying all Nigerians in Nigeria could be declared citizens, or all persons of Garifuna descent, whether in Los Angeles, Bronx, Belize, should be declared as citizens. It's a difference. Now, I'm not sure if that was the point that Queens was making. Maybe not. But I just want to say that we've gone through this with the Guyanese. There's been a lot of discrimination, people with Guyanese. Now, Guyana is a booming double-digit GDP economy and likely to be doing well. You know, I think we have to avoid discrimination in some way. But those individuals who have stayed on, please go and regularize as is being suggested.
I don't know if it's me alone, but I just find it a little odd that, okay, so if somebody overstays their time, the automatic response in my head is, because this is what we're told by immigration, if you overstay your time, you will be deported. But instead, here we're being told, oh, go get yourself checked out. Oh, go get yourself regularized. Is this same courtesy extended to other people who are non-Nigerians or persons who are not of African descent? Hello, good morning.
Yeah, how many Nigerians he says approximately in the article?
It doesn't state a number. It does not state a number.
But the government lost 500. They had 500 votes less at the last election. I believe he believed the Nigerian going to fill that gap. You know, the boards in Antigua did that for many years. You know, the illegals, the undocumented Guyanese and Vincentian and other immigrants living in Antigua. The board made them citizens.
Queens.
And they voted for the board government, and the board government was able to stay in power for a long time in Antigua. He's taking a page of the board.
Queens, can I ask you something?
Handbook.
Queens, sorry to interrupt. You live in New York. Do you know the amount of Caribbean people who live in New York who are undocumented, who went there on a student visa and decided to stay because they want to come back, or they found a girlfriend, or they found a boyfriend, or they thought it was a greener pasture? You and I may have gone through the same thing. Huh?
So you're singling out Nigeria, make everybody who's undocumented.
No, he's meaning that. If you understand the article, because he just gone to Nigeria, and he's asking, I mean, I'm trying to remember the press conference, how this arose. It didn't just arise where he just said so out of the blue. It was, he backed into it because of certain things and so forth that were being asked and so forth.
There was some issues at the last election where they said there was Nigerian registering illegally in different constituencies. I remember that. And so now it's votes. He think right, but if he made them citizens, they're gonna vote for the ULP. And because of the thing with the Garifuna, that would have made Eustace get in power, so he was against that.
It's the same thinking in the United States. The Republicans think that the Democrats want people to come across the border so they will get votes. And so the Republicans are saying, block, build a wall, and so forth. Block, send all the Vincentians back. Send all the Jamaicans back and so forth. Huh? But it's I tell you, to some extent, it's a greener pasture. People's lives change as they travel. You know, people go to France, go to England, they put up on somebody. Where they come from might be hard times. A government changes. There's a coup d'etat, and your family can't go back. You know, they got 7 coup d'etats and so forth in Africa we were talking about. I didn't start talking about it because I want to avoid discussion on Nigeria. And come on, you know.
That's what I believe.
You believe that? Well,
anyway, have a good morning.
Thank you very much.
Same to you, thanks.
Bye-bye.
I just wanted to say that there are I could only speak to like two right now to memory. There are two, but I don't know exactly where they're from,
Mhm.
but persons of African descent who are doing really well in St. Vincent and Grenadines. Toga, and he's a violinist. Yeah.
I want to meet.
And
I'm a violinist
this
too.
female model, I don't know her name.
The bald-headed girl. Yeah, yeah,
I've seen her.
Yeah.
I've seen her a lot.
Girl.
Really
She's
nice. She has
pretty girl.
really
She models
nice
really
photos.
well. She
Yes.
models
Yeah.
really well. And
Yeah.
she's done work for Fashion is Pain. She's
I
done
know.
work
I didn't
for
know she was
Beck Wicked
Nigerian.
Works.
I could tell you, I know Vincentians in England, in Canada, in America who have gone there and have struggled through the system of trying to be regularized. And sometimes your documents run out and all sorts of things happen.
Would the UK tell you go and get yourself regularized?
Yeah, but in my opinion, right?
If they know that you're undocumented, would they make that
I
appeal?
tell you
though?
something. In certain states, they have a company, a British company that Trump so called ICE. They go around and they basically hunt for people.
company.
There's a kind of parastatal division of
Okay.
of the
I thought
government.
I thought it was an arm of the government.
I'm on the government.
It's
Yes,
immigration,
yeah,
it's immigration, right?
it's immigration, but they set it up in a different kind of structure that it is incentivized and so forth to get the stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And they basically would hunt down a lot of people in different states because it's partly state, federal government, and so forth. But with a democratic entity in, like Biden, it isn't getting pushed as much. So you may ask the question, why don't they go out there and scramble up all the illegal? People have come across the border, right? That's about the Santos and so forth, getting coaches and dropping them in New York City, dropping them in Los Angeles and all this kind of thing. There's a whole set of things taking place. I'm amazed that in France, the amount of illegal who used to catch ferries and stow away in boats and so to get across to England and all this other stuff. It's a complicated issue, the movement that's taking place in the world. But we have to remember, Vincent used to leave and go to British Guyana, used to go to Trinidad, used to go to Barbados, go to a whole set of other places, looking for work during some tough times of the 50s and 60s.
I feel like that's still happening. There's still Vincentians going to Barbados. I'm pretty sure if the Bayesian immigration was released stats, you would see that there are a number of undocumented Vincentians in Barbados. But my opinion, right? Oh gosh, and the thought that's left my mind, you know.
Let me take the call. Hopefully it comes back. Write it down. Write it down.
Oh, I remember.
Oh.
I remember.
Great.
Yeah,
Hello. Good morning.
hello.
Hello.
Interesting listening to all of these arguments, you know. Huh? You get the defense mechanism coming from one person there.
Oh,
But why do most Vincentians want to go to England or America? Dr. Thompson is an Englishman, whether or not he doesn't want to claim that. If I can put born in, well, he goes, no, I don't think he was born in
I was
England.
born in Galba, Chateaubriand, but I've spent more time in the United
All right,
States.
good for
Tell you
you.
the truth. I lived in the United States for longer than I lived in England.
But why are we so hypocritical? The wall is made for all of us to travel, isn't that so?
Yes.
Some of us choose our spots where we want to go. For instance, I would have liked to go to the Middle East where they're having all this bacchanal, all this war and so on at one time, but not at a time like this.
Oh.
Huh?
Yeah.
I know people leave. I mean, there was an exodus when people used to go to England of Vincentians going to England. What do you call it? The boat Windrush and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have people now want to go to. Why they don't go to Venezuela? Why they don't go to Cuba? I want you all to ask yourself that. Why they don't go to these countries like how they want to go to the United States of America, in spite of all what they have to face up to racism and whatever. Why? Could one of you bright people answer me with Dr. Trump and choose you? Why? They don't go to Venezuela and these places where our current government is impressing upon us
to be a part of this new thinking or what this is new culture and all of that. Why? Huh? Anyhow, let me leave it there. Hey? Let's lie. Thanks.
The purpose
Thank you.
or the reason why a lot of people go to these countries are in search of a better life. I don't see myself going to live in Cuba, Cuba's current state, to pursue a better life, or in Venezuela. It's the same racism we face in Taiwan when you go to Taiwan. There are Vincentians living in Taiwan. We go to America, it's the same racism you face, but it's less than the issues that people are being faced with in Cuba and countries like Venezuela and the Middle East. My comment was the Prime Minister would be hypocritical if he was to say those undocumented need to get out and things like that, given the current state of the amount of Vincentian expats living in other countries illegally.
Thank you.
And currently,
Thank you.
he is asking Canada to revisit the visa regulations for Vincentian. So he'll be hypocritical if he says that and then come home and say, Nigerians, you need to get out.
So essentially, nobody in any part of the world is supposed to say, y'all leave.
No.
Because in
No.
every... No.
You can say, but listen,
As
listen.
in, like, no
This was a
leadership to
second-
that.
This
Because
was like
every
a second-
country...
It's like a second warning, they were saying. This was like a second warning, second encouragement. You know what I mean? It to some degree. As opposed to come on heavy-handed. Not that there isn't a need for heavy-handedness. That happens. I can tell you there are persons who are dealt with. But
Yeah, the
in
Nigerians
terms of the approach, we don't have a major problem of illegality here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We don't have boatloads of people coming here and things like that. You know, it's really those are things for some other countries that are facing those things. But we don't want that to develop. But a small amount doesn't mean you come. Just what Ari said.
Other countries here in the Caribbean, Doc?
Yeah?
Here in the Caribbean.
Listen.
You have lots of people going to the Caribbean islands.
Anytime an economy is doing well, like Trinidad, during a certain time, people will flock there. Not only Vincentian, but Grenadians and St. Lucians. And then when the economy goes down, the people start saying, who's the fault of our thing? They don't necessarily say it's the economy, it's them small islanders.
Yeah.
Get out, small islanders.
Yeah, and it's the same thing in St. Kitts. A lot of people say, boy, St. Kitts doing well enough. We need to head over St. Kitts. There's a lot of different islanders in St. Kitts right now, as you said, because of the country's economic growth. We have 2 minutes left in this segment. We have time for more calls.
I just have one question, right? One question is, okay, something that is coming out in the article. You know, you are in a country, you finish studying, you finish doing whatever. Why don't you go ahead and do the right thing and get your documents and get your papers in order? And if it is that you're working, why don't they request certain things from you?
You know, I think that it's the same thing in the United States where Vincentians are working sometimes in the document. You're wondering why they coming down hard on the companies and so forth.
No, but my question is,
I think the individual sometimes may not know. Sometimes they may be scared. Sometimes they are a procrastinator. They delay. And sometimes they have maybe some nefarious reason why they ain't doing it. Sometimes they're in a relationship and the relationship is broken and so they're unsure what to do at that time. I'm not really sure of the individual case. Each case, I'm sure, is different, Christal.
And we could note also that some businesses don't request it.
they don't ask questions, they say, come work.
Yes, come work.
If you have the skills.
If
In
you
the
have the
same way, I remember I went to the States. I was undocumented and I got a job. They didn't ask me. You understand? Christal. You probably should have asked me. I'd kick me out. You understand? I eventually got
Sion,
documented.
I think this is Sion trying to call there. I'm so sorry, right? But we
Sion
all the
come.
time.
Let's see him coming back. I want to hear Sion.
Yeah,
You want
we
to
out
hear?
of time.
Because we have committee
Well,
deadline.
maybe
Like,
we
Well, I
can do
wouldn't
5
end up.
minutes
I
and
wouldn't
let
end
Shadi
up.
sign out.
I wouldn't say anything. I
okay,
wouldn't say
Sion,
anything.
try really fast.
Yeah,
Try really fast
Sion.
and come.
Yeah.
Wow, boy. Big boy. Switch on the whole program just for you, man. Just for you. Hello, good morning. We have like 4 minutes.
So I'll try to do less. Good morning again, Christal, Ari, Doc, good morning.
Yeah. Morning,
Morning.
sir.
And Christal, I want to respond specifically to the last question you asked.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they get regularized?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because under their specific circumstances, there isn't a clear pathway for being regularized. And so that is what Prime Minister's comments aim to do. So remember,
Question,
they
stick up in
are
it. Stick up
illegal
in.
in the sense that, hello?
Stick up in this, Jan. If he made it, if he made that appeal in January, between January and now, there wasn't a clear pathway for them to do it.
No, remember, our laws have pathways to residency and citizenship. There's something that you need to do. Now, most of these, if not all of these individuals we're speaking about, came here as students. And the idea is once your student visa, once you finish, because your student visa are done through your schools and so forth, when you finish studying, you go back home. Now, remember, one of the things that specifically is that some of these individuals have fell on hard times. You know, they have no money, things change so that they couldn't complete med school and so forth, so that there is no way for them to renew their student visas because they're no longer in school because the parents can't pay for their schooling and so forth. So they're here, they're literally essentially stuck. And many of them, if not all of most of them, are trying to live, regular lives, getting a job to take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, based on the fact that they have the student visa run out and they cannot get a renewed student visa, the only way for them to do this now is to apply for residency. But their residency pathway, based on their existing circumstances, may not be as clear. And so what we are saying is that we need not make demons out of hardworking people, well-meaning individuals who fell on tough situations. And so our government is saying, let us find a way of regularizing a lot of these individuals who mean well and who will contribute to the development of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The old attitude towards Nigerians, Nigerians scammers and so on and so forth. I think we need to get beyond that.
Thank you.
And look at each case individually. If there is an individual or individuals who you see have nefarious intent, you can deal with those individuals and you can deport them and so on because they are running foul of the law. But the majority of them are law-abiding individuals. And we see no reason why, and that's what the Prime Minister is saying, and that's the position of the government, why we cannot integrate these individuals into our Vincentian society, giving them a pathway of residency. And eventually, because I know Nigerians have gotten into serious relationships, have gotten married.
Yeah.
But you can't force all of them, like what happens in the US, for example, to try and do a forced marriage, try and pay a month to get married, just so they could stay and make, a life for them. There has to be some way that we can accommodate within what the law provides individuals from Nigeria and other African countries who are here, whose circumstances change negatively and are unable to go back to their countries and have them participate in national development in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Sian, we have less than a minute, but I have a question because there were rumors that there was a Nigerian scammer here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and he was deported. Do you know anything about that?
No, I can't speak to that at all.
Okay.
But there'll always be rumors. And I tell you something, bro, there's scammers everywhere. I don't think, people go to the States and get scammed by Americans. People go to different countries and get scammed. But somehow we have this phobia based on old perceptions of old African perceptions about African brothers and sisters. I think we need to get past it. I think I know the Nigerians who are here, the Mexicans who are here, Nigerians, Ghanaians, and so on who are here, have shown that they mean well, and if given a chance, they will contribute to SPG's development, and we should give them a chance.
All right. Well, Siano, unfortunately, we're out of time.
Yes, buddy, no problem.
Thank you so much
Take
for
care.
your input this morning.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye now. Take care.